it's Rick Chambers with the Center Education Foundation, here with Karen Russell Silins. And Karen is a former member of the Center High School Band, a clarinetist, and she's going to share some of her memories about the wonderful Don Shaffer. So, Karen, tell me how you first encountered Don Shaffer at Center.
My first day of high school, I had signed up for the 6-hour band, and the thing that he had us all do was play a scale. And he wanted to hear our tone, and he wanted to be able to place us appropriately. And I played a big long scale from the lowest to way up in the stratosphere at the time. And I don't know if I could hit any of those notes today on the clarinet. But after the class, he goes, "Why are you in here?" I said, "Well, I'm in here because I really love band." And he said, "No, why are you in here?" And he said, "I want you in marching band." And then the next day, I was coming to marching band. So I actually had 2 band hours. My first hour and like my last hour of the day were band classes, which was really cool, actually. And instead, I switched over to percussion instruments for 6th-hour band. And so I played the clarinet in the marching band, and I was the only girl freshman. And that was also very cool. And then I wound up being the only freshman in concert band that year. And the next year I became first chair, and I was first chair sophomore to senior year. And I just loved playing for Don. He was just the neatest guy. And we all called him behind his back Daddy Don. Whether he knew it or not, I don't know. I'm sure he did. But he was just, he invested heavily in his students. He wanted the best for them. He wanted them to go to contests, and he wanted them to have that achievement, that feeling of achievement. And he wanted to have them feel that the crowd clap for them after they did a great marching band performance and all of that, because he knew that that was a confidence builder for people, and that there were lifelong lessons to be learned through music, but also things that could build a person's confidence for them in their adulthood.
You mentioned lifelong lessons. What are some of the lessons you take away from your time with Don?
To invest in other people. Invest your time and your energies. I learned that from both Don and from Mr. Chronister. They really did that. There were a lot of teachers at Center that did that.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Are there some favorite pieces of music that you remember from your band days at Center?
Well, we did a lot of Claude T. Smith pieces. We also did a lot of John Philip Sousa pieces, so I always enjoyed that. But I always remember pep band pieces. Pep band pieces were so fun. And I always remember playing Peter Gunn, the Peter Gunn theme. That was so fun. And to this day, it'll run through my head sometimes. So it just depends on the day. But yeah, I remember a lot of the pieces we took to contest. I remember in particular my junior year, we went to contest, and we played a very difficult piece, a very unusual piece that had a very unique time signature, and it was just a different type of piece. And I think we did that in combination with probably a Claude T. Smith, because you always had a couple pieces. And when they critiqued us, they gave us a 2. We didn't get 2s at Center in band. And it was really disturbing to see some of their comments, because they were saying that we had a bassoon that was out of tune and we didn't have a bassoon. And they were saying that another instrument was too loud that we also did not have. And that actually resulted in an article and letter that was written to the Missouri Music Educators Association by Mr. Shaffer about the poor judging at the contest that year. And that included, for the 2 of us that were doing clarinet solos, with whom this woman just had an obsession about whether our embouchure was like hers or not, and wasn't about to give almost anybody a 1. And so that also went into that article. He let me read it. He said, "Are you okay with this?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine with it." And it resulted in all new judges the next year. So didn't have that problem the next year.
Wonderful, wonderful. What were some of the characteristics you think made Don unique?
He could be fiery, but he laughed at himself. I remember he told us a story once. He got really mad and he had his baton, and he slapped it on the stand. The baton went up and stuck in the ceiling. And he said, "What else could I do at that moment but just start laughing?" He also had great compassion. He had to break the news to us, I believe it was my junior year, that a favorite music teacher of several of ours from the elementary school had been killed the night before by a drunk driver in an accident. And he was there. He said, any of you that are struggling with this, if you cry in the middle of class, if you can't play today, it's all fine. You definitely, take your time off for the funeral. And he said, my door's open all day for you, whatever you need. That was really tough news to hear. Mrs. Gentry was a wonderful teacher, and it affected a lot of us.
Were there any particular performances that stick in your mind?
The Christmas performance every year. We'd always do the Nutcracker Suite. That was always so much fun. And we had these different songs that were pretty much the regular, and everyone loved the Christmas concert. My grandparents would come up from Pleasant Hill for the Christmas concert every year. And of course it was band and choir. So, you'd have to go leave your clarinet on a chair and run downstairs to sing with the choir and come back up for band, and it was just a lot of fun. The Christmas concert was probably everybody's favorite every year.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Any other thoughts you'd like to share?
Just that he was special enough of a teacher to me that I wrote him and hand wrote, and I have terrible handwriting, but I did my best to be as neat as possible, like a 3-page letter when he retired. And I was in college at the time, to let him know what he meant to so many of his students. And I know I would not have been the only one.
Yeah.
He had that profound of an effect. And as somebody who sings professionally today, I have my business on, that I do, but on the side, I sing, and my husband and I are both vocalists. The love of music he helped instill in us as students, I think, lasts with most all of us to this day. And that support to be the best you can be. One of the funniest stories that my family always remembers is that my parents would not get me to rehearsal on time my freshman year for marching band. And so Don solved that problem for me. He goes, "Karen, just tell them it's 30 minutes earlier that I changed the time." I was never late again to a rehearsal. I lied to my parents all through high school. Now, mind you, my dad was a Kansas City, Missouri police officer. He could not be late to work, but yet I get to my rehearsals late and stuff. And this only happened a couple times. Don told me about that. And after that discussion, I was like, I will do that. I will so do that. I lied to my parents all through high school about what time I needed to be someplace. It was always earlier than I had to be there.
Did you ever confess that to your parents?
Yes, they thought it was hilarious. I confessed that to them in college. Yeah, I confessed it to them when I got into college. And they said, "Well, it worked, so as long as it worked."
That's great. That's great. All right. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate your comments and your sharing your stories, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, and I hope his family will be seeing this. My blessings to his family, who I met several over the years, and they walked into that band room. So
yeah,
he was a special man, and there's thousands of students that remember him.